The wind had turned bitter that autumn evening, sweeping crisp amber leaves across the quiet street. Michael Donovan, a man whose name was printed on magazines and business journals, was walking toward a small apartment building he owned on the edge of town. On paper, Michael had it all: wealth, status, a penthouse with glass walls overlooking the skyline, but no one to come home to. Success had filled his pockets but emptied his heart. He had planned to simply check on a leaky roof complaint and leave. But as he stepped into the dimly lit stairwell, something made him pause. There on the bottom step sat a little girl. Her legs dangled above the floor, and she was clutching a threadbare teddy bear so tight its seams were stretched. She looked about 8 years old, her cheeks pale, her lips chapped, and a knitted hat pulled low over her ears. Her breathing was shallow, like each inhale cost her effort. She lifted her gaze to him, her eyes so big and soft they seemed to hold an ocean of stories. "Sir," she said in a voice barely above a whisper, "if you carry me up the stairs, I'll tell you a secret." Michael blinked. The request was so unexpected, so innocent, that for a moment he wondered if he'd heard her right. He could have brushed her off after all. He didn't know her, and she wasn't his responsibility. But something about the way she looked at him made his chest tighten. It wasn't just a request, it was a plea. Without another word, Michael bent down and gently scooped her up. She was shockingly light, too light for her age, he thought. Her small arms looped weakly around his neck, and he could feel the faint rise and fall of her fragile breath. They began the slow climb. The stairwell smelled faintly of old wood and laundry detergent. As they moved upward, the girl began talking. Not in a rush, but in small, tender pieces. "My name's Emily," she said, resting her head against his shoulder. "My mom works a lot, 2 jobs. She says I'm her sunshine." Michael gave a faint smile, the first genuine one in weeks. "That's nice," he said softly. "Do you go to school?" "Sometimes," she replied. "But not lately. I get tired real easy, so I stay home and draw sunsets from my window. I pretend the building is a castle and I'm waiting for my knight to come visit." He felt something stir deep inside him. When was the last time he'd heard a child talk with such hope? His own childhood had been anything but magical. He'd been raised by parents who valued discipline over warmth. Maybe that's why he had built his life around control and work, never allowing anyone close enough to disappoint him. Her voice broke his thoughts. "We live at the very top. Mom says it's good exercise for her legs, but I think she's just trying to make me laugh." Michael adjusted his hold as they neared the final flight. He found himself slowing down, as if a part of him didn't want this moment to end. They reached the top floor, and Emily pointed to a peeling blue door at the far end of the hall. But before he set her down, she leaned closer and whispered, "The secret is, I'm not sure I'll see another birthday, but I'm not afraid, because I think God sends people at the right time." Michael froze. Her words didn't come with tears or fear. They came with a strange, serene certainty. He could feel his throat tightening, his breath catching in his chest. For a man who had built his life on deals, numbers, and logic, this small girl had just dismantled his defenses in a sentence. He looked at her closely. "Why would you say that?" She gave a small shrug, hugging her teddy bear. "The doctors say my heart's broken. Not like when you're sad, but for real. It gets tired faster than other hearts. Mom says we can't fix it right now 'cause fixing it costs more than our whole house. But sometimes strangers turn out to be friends, right?" Something deep within Michael shifted. He wasn't used to feeling helpless, yet in this moment he felt it, and it made him want to change that. The door creaked open and a woman in her early 30s appeared, her face drawn with fatigue but her eyes warm. "Emily, what on earth?" She stopped when she saw Michael holding her daughter. "I'm sorry if she's been any trouble," the woman said quickly, reaching for Emily. "I was just finishing my shift and she wasn't any trouble." Michael interrupted, his voice softer than he intended. "We were just talking." He learned her name was Sarah, and yes, Emily had a serious congenital heart defect. The surgery was possible, but the cost was far beyond what Sarah could ever hope to earn working 2 jobs. They were just getting by, waiting, hoping. Michael nodded politely and left soon after, but his mind wasn't on the roof leak anymore. That night, lying in his king-sized bed in his glass-walled penthouse, he stared at the city lights. He thought of Emily's words, "I think God sends people at the right time." He wasn't sure he believed in God, but he did believe in moments when you could either step forward or turn away. And for the first time in years, he wanted to step forward. By morning, the decision was made. He contacted the best pediatric cardiologist in the state, arranged for the surgery, and made the payment under one condition. His name would never be mentioned. He wanted Emily and Sarah to believe it was a gift from a friend. 3 months later, Michael was back at the apartment building, this time with no business reason to be there. He was just walking up the sidewalk when he heard a high-pitched voice call out behind him. Michael, he turned startled. Emily was running toward him, not walking, not being carried, but running. Her cheeks were rosy, her hair bouncing, her eyes brighter than he remembered. She flung her arms around his waist before he could say a word. "Guess what?" she said, grinning. "The doctors say my heart is strong now. I can climb the stairs all by myself." Michael swallowed hard, fighting back an unexpected wave of emotion. "That's amazing, Emily." She looked up at him, her smile turning softer. "I told you my secret that day," she said, "and you became the answer." For a man who had measured life in profits and losses, that was the moment he realized true wealth wasn't in numbers, but in moments when you choose to carry someone, even when you don't have to. As he walked her inside, Emily skipped beside him, talking about school and friends and sunsets, and Michael thought maybe, just maybe, God really did send people at the right time. Michael had set out that evening with nothing more on his mind than a leaky roof, yet he walked away with something far greater, a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can change the course of a life. Carrying Emily up those stairs had been a simple choice in the moment, but it opened a door to compassion he didn't know he had. Her trust, her courage, and her quiet faith stirred something long dormant within him. In helping her heal, he discovered his own heart wasn't broken. It had simply been waiting for a reason to beat for someone else. And so, the secret Emily shared became more than just a whisper on a stairwell. It became a living truth that the right person, at the right time, can be the answer to a prayer you didn't even know you were making.